Hello MTV and welcome to my crib. Why don't you come on in, I'll show you around. Nah, obviously we're just joking, but this week we do have a building tour. We have got Jordan West, a member of our CLT. He's showing us around the building and kind of telling us about the details, about the cafe, the offices, everything kind of like that. He's telling us about the size of the building, so all the exciting details that I am completely oblivious and unaware of. So Jordan's going to be walking through that with us. I know a lot of people have been excited about seeing the inside of this, and some people missed the prayer meetings that we've had in the past. So hopefully this will get you a nice view of the inside of our building and a bit of an update on its progress as well. But we'll hope that you enjoy this building tour / update.
Hiya, it's Jordan here. We're just here to give you an update on the building project. So it's a bit exciting kind of time that we're in, just looking to progress into phase 2 works. A lot of people's kind of looking at the building and thinking, oh, we're ready to move in, but unfortunately we have got a wee bit of work still to do. So the purpose of today is just to give you a wee update and a tour of the building and just show our excitement for where we're at. So where we're at just now is, we just walked into one of the main entrances of the door. So this is the corridor. It's quite a large kind of space that we can have for kind of conversation, post services, breakout spaces. As we're kind of walking down this large forklift device will not be here when the building opens, so it will be nice and free for people to walk up and down. But what we've got here is 2 main entrances. So we've got the car park at this entrance and one of the main doors here as well. What I would say is the large Noah-like doors, it's there, will not be there when the building opens. That's just to help with materials coming in and out the building during the next phase of the project. So yeah, now what we'll do is we'll kind of move into the auditorium. So as we're walking up here, this is one of the double sets of doors. There'll be 2 sets of double doors, and this is the main space that we're going to do our services in. Right, so looking at the auditorium, it's quite a large space. If you're thinking about perspective of size, this area is 4 times the size of our main hall up at Queen's Road. So we're definitely thinking it has the capacity to grow the church, but we're all obviously praying for it to be filled as soon as possible. Just to this end of the auditorium, this is where the framework, the structure is for the staging, which is going to be really exciting to see. We'll have a nice screen there and kind of the band, the stage. Just round about here is where we'll have our kind of media box. So obviously all the sounds and lighting will be controlled from here. So visuals and everything. So that's a very important part of the church. And yeah, capacity wise, you might be asking how much seats is there going to be. There's roughly about 670 planned into it just now, but we do reckon the capacity could go north of 1,000. So we're really praying that God allows us to fill that, and that's the whole purpose of the project, is to grow the church and get this building filled. So now we'll move over into the multi-purpose one. Now, multi-purpose one is the natural place, the overflow from the auditorium post services. It'll be the area where we'll have our teas, our coffees, our fellowship. Yeah, there's a lot of good ministry happens here as well. Basically what we've got is the kitchen area. It's difficult to visualise at the moment, obviously, because the partitions and the structures are not up, but the kitchen area is obviously a hive of activity during our ministries, and in this space we'll have tables set out with potential for some staging and things to have some of the smaller ministries in the church encore and different things that they can have fellowship and teas, etc. So moving on from multipurpose 1, we're going to move into multipurpose 2, which is the bigger hall that we kind of have out of the two. In terms of size, this area is about the size of the bottom floor of the church up the road and the balcony added together. So just to give you a bit of perspective of size, it's about that sort of capacity. This is what we intend, kind of youth and kids ministries would use this a lot for their activities, football, kind of games, you know, a lot of different fun and games going on in here. This is obviously the main entrance coming from the car park area. You come in from here, we can go right into the cafe area. So if we're walking into the cafe area, we'll have a nice kind of kitchen cafe area just set up just for serving the church and the public, with 2 sets of toilets, and yeah, it's quite a nice open space, plenty of room to socialise and enjoy a cup of coffee and a nice refreshment. But yeah, it's a nice open space that will, again, a lot of fellowship, a lot of good ministry we're believing will happen in this place. And right, we're just going to move out of the cafe area and we're going to go down and show you the office block and the community store. So just on your right here, there'll be a stairs that can go up. There'll be more offices up there, so we can show you that later on in the video. As we're moving through, what we've got here obviously looks like quite an open space at the moment, but this is where the office blocks will be, so for our admin staff, and there'll be some meeting rooms there to help with kind of life counselling, etc., some of the ministries that we'll have within the church. This area here, I think it will be quite an important area of the church. So it's the parents' waiting room, which is on the architect's plans, but essentially it's what we would call the creche. So kind of parents with young kids, or kind of kids that kind of find it difficult to stay within services, it enables the congregation to be able to see the service and listen to the service from a nice kind of convenient place. Moving down this area here, there's access doors, which is generally where our church staff will access the building on a day-to-day basis. But this room in here, I feel, is a significant space that has really become more important over the last 2 or 3 years in the context of the kind of COVID pandemic, the cost of living crisis. This is where our community store will be. So essentially we'll run the food bank and the clothing banks, etc., out of here. And yeah, it's I suppose one of the ministries that's become a focal point of the church, and we're really excited to provide a better facility for it, so we can expand that ministry into something better as well. So we'll just kind of move down this way and we'll show you the upstairs as well, just to get a view of that. Right, so here is the upstairs. This is actually going to be a later phase in our project, so we would be aiming to get entry into the building prior to this being done. This area will be sort of partitioned off, so it will only be trained access it can get up. But essentially what we've got here is some more of the pastoral offices, and like the boardroom would be here as well. There is about a quarter of this area is plant room, so you haven't seen the plant room downstairs, but essentially the area at the top here, a quarter of it is plant, because there's a lot of obviously ducting and kind of boilers and heating systems and things in the building, so yeah, you need a lot of space for that. So just kind of looking down at the space here, you get a nice view of the auditorium, just the general size of it again, which is exciting to see. And yeah, that's most of the building that we've kind of showed you there. We can obviously go out and show you some of the external works as well, just to see the car park and the kind of setup that we'll have outside. But it's really exciting time for a church. And yeah, we're just looking to get the phase 2 work started in the next month, so that'd be brilliant.
Well, thank you for coming to MTV Central Online Cribs. Sorry, we hope you enjoyed this building tour, and we hope that you join us in person for our many programs happening throughout the week, and in person in church next week and online next week too. But I'll see you next week. I'm just away to go claim an office and dig myself a jacuzzi. I'll see you later.